How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve Ninja. Yeah, I'm really happy to come back tonight. I've been really sick lately. I wanted to make a video for doing my Oscar predictions last Friday, and then that didn't happen. Then I did it again. Tried to do it again on Saturday. It didn't happen. I knew yesterday I wouldn't be able to do it, so I'm really just happy that I'm still alive right now, and still, you know, recovering from this kind of illness. I started feeling sick on Thursday night, and then all of a sudden you know, Friday felt a little bit worse, and a little bit worse on Saturday, and then yesterday was the worst that it had been. So I wouldn't be able to shoot that video yesterday. And I had my several lists, like two notebooks full of stuff there showing showing my picks, and it just didn't happen. I was disappointed, but on my community tab, I gave my predictions there, and I was right on a lot of them. I should have picked Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought that was going to be one of my picks, but then I changed it to Carrie Condon. But I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was good, and she was good in this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The movie won 7 Oscars yesterday, but like I said, she was good in the movie, and I think she's a big reason why it had a box office draw. If it weren't for her, who knows how well that movie would have done in the theater. But I was excited that she won anyway. And Angela Bassett was deserving. I think she won the Golden Globe. Uh, you know, that kind of thing. But and Carrie Condon won the BAFTA. So and Jamie Lee Curtis had won the SAG award. So it wasn't that a big shock that Jamie Lee Curtis won. But okay. It says I'm on camera right now, so I was not seeing my face on there, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, I'm still getting better at going live. Just I go live from my when I give out digital codes. I do that because I like to show the wheel where I put people's name on a wheel and spin the wheel, and so everybody could see that that they've won. Want to show proof that everyone's on the wheel and that everyone has a chance to win. Hey, I'm living in Indianapolis. Is Bob's Blu-ray. Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, like I said, I live here, so I'm a big fan of the Pacers. I know you live in Illinois. I don't know if you're a Bulls fan. I assume, which is the Bulls are great. One of the best franchises when Michael Jordan was there. Is one of the best. So, but good to see you tonight, Bob. But yeah, and I decided I didn't want to do any editing tonight. I just wanted to just go live and just talk about the Oscars last night, and I want to also talk about if you noticed the Memoriam last night, they left out at least a couple of names that I thought were kind of strange. There's one named Charlbi Dean. If last week I got to see Triangle of Sadness. Triangle of Sadness. It's a nominee for Best Picture, and I was this beautiful young woman in the movie. And I thought, who is that? I wondered what else she had done, or what else might she might be working on. Um, and I found out when I looked her up. I was watching the movie on Hulu. When I looked her up, I realized that found out that she passed away in August of 2022, and she was this was actually before the premiere of Triangle of Sadness. Before that, and she actually had gotten engaged like 4 months earlier at that point. So her career was, everything was happening in her life, and it's really sad that she passed away. She was only, like I said, only 32. So things are really happening for her, and so I was really kind of disappointed that she wasn't listed in the memoriam. She passed away last year, and also, let's see, I could show her face and let me present here. Yeah, I see Hall and Oates. How you doing, man? Oh, you're a Mavericks fan, Bob. Okay, that's cool. Mavericks are great, man. Rick Carlisle, came from the Pacers and Detroit, and then he went to Dallas and won a championship with them, which was great. I think he's a great coach. But let's see. I'm just going to share my screen, show Charlbi Dean. A lot of people haven't seen this movie, but look at the beautiful, like 32. Look at that. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Who is this? When I saw the movie, I've never seen this woman before, and was from South Africa, so she had sort of a British accent, I thought, wow, I was so disappointed when I just as I'm watching the movie to find out that she had passed away. But there's also Paul Sorvino. I don't believe they gave his name either, and he passed away like in July of 2022 apparently. So he wasn't mentioned either. So I know they can't give everybody, they were giving all these, people that worked, behind the camera, people worked on the crews that people we've never heard of before, and the actors that you actually see in front of the camera, they skipped a couple. I know Tom Sizemore just passed away last week, and he'll likely be on next year's Oscars, because he passed away this year. I think they have done some of those where they've someone just passed away a week or two before the Oscars, and they put them on. I guess it depends on who the actor is. If they're a huge star that everyone knows, I think those are the ones that tend to get shown. You notice like they did like some of the like composers and people that work behind the scenes. They would show like two of them on the screen at the same time, and then like the big stars they would just show their face on one panel. I guess you can do that if they're a big name star. It makes sense that you would do that to show them off. Um, I think, yeah, I'm showing this. This is one thing I did once, but I wasn't sharing my screen properly. But let's see. Let me go back to myself. Remove that one. Okay, there I am. So getting better at that. Like I said, one time I did one of these, and I did like three wheels, spun the wheel, and then realized after I'd already done all that I wasn't sharing my screen. So it's like at that point I couldn't stop the live stream and then redo it. The winners had already heard their names, so I didn't want to wipe out the winners and respin. So I didn't. I thought it might be unfair to do that, but you know, it, uh, but as far as the Oscars yesterday, I was really excited that Brendan Fraser won, even though I think before The Whale was what came out in theaters in December last year, I had Austin Butler winning the whole year. I thought he was great in Elvis. Some people didn't like that movie. It's kind of a comic book kind of movie, kind of cartoonish. Tom Hanks is definitely cartoonish in that movie, but they do have kind of a theme in that movie where they show comic books. Where Elvis was a big fan of comics, so it kind of had that theme to it. And I think a lot of people just didn't latch on to that idea that they would make it kind of a comic book kind of thing. But you know, I liked Austin Butler a lot, and I think he'll have other chances to win. But I was really excited that Brendan Fraser won. Just being an Indianapolis guy, I thought, wow, this guy, his career definitely taken a big dive, and he was big in the '90s and early 2000s, with the Mummy movies, and he was in Airheads years ago, and then I didn't even know. I was really excited about Ki Hu Kwan winning yesterday. I just uh, so excited, man. Every time he won, every award that he won, he was just so excited and just crying. I knew he would be teary eyed, and he kind of made me cry a little bit, and at the end there when Harrison Ford presented best picture, and he got to see and give a Ki Hu Kwan a hug, I just thought, who would have thought back in when Temple of Doom was released years ago that at that time, who would have thought that Ki Hu Kwan would win an Oscar before Harrison Ford? Because Harrison Ford, if you've ever seen The Fugitive, Harrison Ford was really great in that movie, really great, and just several movies he's done, but yeah, I thought he was really great in The Fugitive. He was really great in the Witness too, and just so much of what he's done is he's a big time star, and really excited there. And I was glad to hear that Steven Spielberg was there as well. If you saw the Golden Globes, seeing when Ki Hu Kwan won that, he gave a shout out to Steven Spielberg in the crowd, and Spielberg gave him his big break in Temple of Doom. So, and it just I think he also goes by the name Jonathan. I think it's kind of an Americanized kind of name, but Ki Hu Kwan is his real name, and he basically gave up on acting for a number of years. He talked about his wife. His wife said for 20 years she told him don't give up. And he didn't give up. And I don't know what other opportunities he's going to have now. I hope he does get chances to be in other films. I haven't looked at in any future projects with him, that he might be doing next. But it's just great to win an Oscar, man. It's just validation. Just like Michelle Yeoh, I was glad that she won, even though I had picked Kate Blanchett to win, and I put him on my community tab. That Kate Blanchett's like the goat, you know. She's one of the best actresses ever, you know. And I think she looked maybe a little bit disappointed when she lost, even though she's won 2 Oscars already, and then she doesn't need validation. She knows she's great. She's you know she's fantastic. She doesn't need to be, you know, awarded so much. But so I was happy to see Michelle Yeoh win that award, and I love that movie. You know, some people haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. I saw it back in March of last year, and it was my favorite movie all year long. Even though I love Top Gun Maverick, you know, great popcorn movie. It basically saved cinema. Yeah, it really did. I mean, it got people back to the theater that I had not seen, you know, especially older people. It brought so many people together. It packed the houses. I saw it 5 times in the theater, packed the house every time. So yeah, it was great that you know that she did that. Yeah, Adam Driver, yeah, Chet the Chet the Bee. Um, yeah, Adam Driver's great. You know, I haven't seen 65 yet. Not heard really great things about it, but I'm probably still going to see it next weekend. You know, I'm going to see Shazam probably on Thursday. I really want. I was going to see 65 on Thursday last week, but that's when I starting to feel really bad at that point. And I went to see Scream 6 that night, so I forgot that Scream 6 was coming out, but at that time. But and then also had the live stream that I did with a Mega Mike the Movie Man. You know, it's really excited to talk about a time we did a Creed pregame and a postgame show, and last Thursday was a postgame show. But you know, I was planning on seeing actually I was planning on seeing 65 on Sunday. I had my ticket, you know, to AMC to go see it, and I was feeling so bad. You know, yesterday it was like I've got to cancel this now. There's no way I'm going to make it to this movie. No way I'm going to make it. And I was hearing, you know, not great things about it, but I still want to see it just because I really like Adam Driver. He's got some connections to Indiana. I think he lived in Indiana, like up north somewhere, and he uh, uh, he said some things about some people that he that he lived around. You know, just some things that didn't surprise me really, um, but you know, Adam Driver, I think he is one of the great actors out there, and I think his day will come someday as far as getting an Oscar nomination. Just if he keeps doing great work, he's going to eventually get recognized. I think, and he was in what was the Coen Brothers movie, Inside Llewyn Davis. When I saw him, that and also the other guy from Star Wars, help me out with his name, but they were both in the new sequels, and they were both in that. The star of Inside Llewyn Davis, when I both those guys, you know, eventually would be in a Star Wars movie, and Adam Driver would go on to be, you know, nominated for you know, awards later, and I think he's kind of the better actor of the two overall. But forgetting that the guy that played Moon Knight, you have to look it up. Where's Inside Llewyn Davis? I got it over here. I know his name. Yeah. Well, I'm live. Just gonna do this now. Yeah. I've got his name here. Always good to do this while you're live. I'm almost forgetting his name. Oscar Isaac. Yeah, can't remember his name. I probably would not have drawn that name if I had thought about it. Oscar Isaac. Yeah, they were both Inside Llewyn Davis. I like this. This is kind of an underrated Coen Brothers movie on a Criterion. This movie, I remember liking it when I saw it the first time, but a little bit slow. But as I watch this movie more and more, I think I kind of enjoy it every time I see it. It has one period there where it kind of drags a little bit, and near the middle. about the overall. I really enjoy this, and I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan. So, um, yeah, definitely check that out on Criterion. You know, there should be more Coen Brothers movies released on Criterion. Like I don't know, Fargo maybe a little too mainstream, but Fargo's a great movie too. I don't think you'll ever see like Raising Arizona on Criterion. You know, but I think that during that movie, I think those the Coen brothers didn't get along with Nicolas Cage. Apparently, if you watch every time I see time I see Raising Arizona on Blu-ray or DVD, it never has any special features on it. And apparently the Nicolas Cage didn't get along with the Coen brothers, and during that, I guess so. Um, yeah, Inside the Llewyn Davis. Yeah, it's interesting. And it has like a lot of like folk music from like early '60s, that kind of thing. So if you're not into that, you may not necessarily like it. But Oscar Isaac is definitely kind of a struggling artist in the movie, and so it's it. I enjoy his performance. At that time, he had I think he had done like Sucker Punch at that point, so he wasn't like a big name yet. And then a few years after Inside Llewyn Davis was released, his career exploded. Just the Star Wars movies alone, I think it kind of made him a huge star. And I think he's a great actor. But I think Adam Driver, I think is even more talented than Oscar Isaac overall. But I didn't really love the Star Wars movies. I like the Force Awakens, and I think the Last Jedi, was completely went off the rails from if people know Star Wars, it went off the rails from that. And then I didn't really like the right the I guess Skywalker, the third one. Didn't really like that movie too much, but I love the original trilogy, the original Star Wars trilogy the most. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get on tonight without having to do any editing. So I'm still not feeling that great. But Ex Machina is a great movie. I have that as well, somewhere in here. I don't know, somewhere in my just display here. Do you like this display? I used to do a lot of videos from here, and then I just kind of got sick of it, and just the lighting is weird. So I kind of like to do it in my office over. That's where I work from home, so that's kind of where I am most of the day. So I like that. I'd like to get a new camera as well. This is my webcam. Yeah, I like the way this looks. This is in like 720p, so it's not the highest quality because on StreamYard you have to pay like $20 a month to get 1080p to get on the higher scale. So if you're on the 720p and you broadcast live straight to YouTube, it doesn't cost you anything to do that. So that's why the quality in this was a little different. I think when I was on Mike's in the Creed 3 post game show, I think because I was on Mike's stream, I was able to go 1080p on that because I wasn't one paying for it. Mike was paying for the higher, I guess, 1080p. So yeah, it's definitely a way to go. If you go live all the time, it's definitely better to have the best quality image that you can. So, but yeah, Ex Machina I really love that movie, and I've never seen Annihilation. I didn't like Men all that much from the same director, but I love Ex Machina is a great movie. Particular video, yeah. I just like if I watch videos, I watch channels from the big YouTubers, and they all have like this greatest image quality. Like I think there's a big difference between watching YouTube on your phone versus watching it on a huge big screen TV. I think that's the problem. A lot of times, if you're when I watch videos on a 60-inch television, I just have a 1080p TV, even though I just recently bought a 4K player. But eventually I'm going to get a 4K TV. But I've noticed that just the image quality on a big screen TV is you can just notice it. Now, if I try to watch my videos on the ones I do on my phone, I don't have a big time camera. I just look at it and think, I may never go anywhere with my my channel if I don't get better quality. But a lot of people use like these big bright lights when they when they do that, when they make their videos, and you can tell they're like blinded by their lights. I'd like to get a camera that's like a something that works well in low light, which I think that iPhones don't really do that well with. I've noticed in my iPhone videos when I record them when I'm outside, and I record during the day, they look great. But then when you come inside, my lighting's never right, so it's like the image just looks terrible. But there's a big difference between watching on your phone and watching on TV. And some people do watch on TV. Most people watch YouTube on their phones, I think. But yeah, Annihilation, no, like Portman, yeah. I planned on watching it for a long time. Yeah, yeah. Men, I thought was just a weird movie. It, like, I could supposed to be kind of like a feminist kind of movie, and um, yeah, I didn't need to see some of the images in that movie. That just that weird scene near the end. There's like they repeat the same scene like 5 times, and yeah, I just didn't. But yeah, like I said, Ex Machina is his masterpiece in my opinion, and so I will check out Annihilation. I've been planning on seeing that for a long time. I just keep putting it off. I have so many movies to watch, but I do want to see it. Yeah, I eventually do plan to check it out. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Charlbi Dean, just because I just felt like it's kind of sad that her movie was nominated for Best Picture, and she wasn't even mentioned in the Memoriam, even though she passed away in August of last year. And she wasn't a big star. I think her star was rising for sure. So she wasn't a big name or anything, but maybe she wasn't a SAG member yet. Maybe it has something to do with it, and people just didn't know who she was yet. But I know that Triangle of Sadness is getting a Criterion release sometime in April or May sometime. Um, so I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was a little bit too long. The running time was just dragged on forever. It has Woody Harrelson's in it. Um, overall, I enjoyed the message that it had in it. It was kind of this class wars kind of thing. But it was interesting. But I just thought it's just sad that she passed away so young. Apparently, she had lost. She had like when she was 18, she had her spleen removed, and just 14 years later, apparently there was some kind of infection around that area, and she kind of got sepsis or something like that. She died just all of a sudden. She just wasn't feeling well, and somewhere in New York, wasn't feeling well, and then she passed out, and they just couldn't revive her. And it's like, wow, that's so sad, but I thought at the very least they could have given her a mention since she was in a movie that was nominated for Best Picture. Just makes sense that the two would go together, but apparently she wasn't enough of a star that they felt like they needed to mention her. But I thought it was kind of sad. Yeah, okay, it's getting released in April. Yeah, yeah, and on Criterion. I hope that flash sale happens sometime soon. I've been planning on checking the flash sale out for a while now, and I wonder if maybe they're delaying it because of David Lynch. His movie Inland Empire is getting released sometime at the end of this month. I think it was like maybe the 27th or so. So they're waiting for that day before they do their flash sale, because sometimes it's like the end of February. Last year it was on March 9th. So today's the 13th, and it still hasn't happened. It's possible could be tomorrow. If it does, I have like 3 titles I want to get, and I've got like a huge list of criterions that I want to buy, and there's at least 3. I usually buy 3 at a time just to get the free shipping on it. So really excited whenever that happens. I'm gonna jump on like 3 titles when the flash sale gets announced. And I always do like in July. I always do the Barnes and Noble 50% off sale, and they do that again in November. I think last year's Criterion did their flash sales, and I think it was like in March and October. Yeah, yeah, everyone's waiting. They're so expensive a lot of times. A lot of times you can get Blu-rays for like $31. That's the normal price. But when they do that, when apparently they do their 50, when Criterion does their 24-hour flash sale, they'll do like they'll basically go off the SRP amount, which is like $40 for a Blu-ray and 45 for a 4K. And then when they say they're doing half off, that's what's normally listed at 31.99 is goes up to 39.99. So half of that is the $20 for Blu-rays and $25 for 4Ks. So that's how they look at it, and that's fine with me. If it's anywhere around $20 for a new Criterion, um, that's fine with me. I'll buy stuff used for $20. A lot of times if it's in decent quality on Blu-ray, I'll buy it that way. But yeah, it'd be great if they were announced that tonight, and then usually the sale starts at like noon the next day when you'll hear rumors like the night before, and so it's kind of exciting when you hear that because it's 24 hours to jump on it at that point. So you have to get right on there to get those movies. So they have great movies. I'm a huge fan of movies. They don't have to be on Criterion to for me to like them, but I have a certain number. I have like 107 titles now on Criterion, and so kind of building it. I don't collect those by spine number necessarily. I know some people that they just have to get every spine number. There are some Criterions I probably never will buy, like War and Peace. I probably never own that one. Jellyfish Eyes. I've heard about so many people just trash that movie and say it's so terrible, even though it's usually the cheapest one. If you go to Barnes and Noble, it's usually like the cheapest price, because of. But everyone I know that's seen it have said they regretted it, they hated it. I'm happy to say that to this point, I think Monty Python's Life of Brian is the only one that I've ever traded in when I upgraded it to Blu-ray, and that actually bothered me for like 5 years when I traded that in. It's like I can't believe I got rid of a Criterion, and so eventually I had to buy it used, buy it back used, and I have it on Blu-ray as well. But I'm a huge fan of Monty Python. It kind of reminds me that's what's people that like that absurdist kind of humor that Monty Python brings. That's that's kind of what this is. It's kind of that Monty Python style of humor, just ridiculous kind of humor, and it's kind of strange that won an Oscar. That just it's kind of shows something about every now and then the Oscar voters actually vote something different. It's not like a serious drama kind of thing. It's got elements of drama and humor and just absurdist kind of ridiculous kind of stuff that like doesn't make any sense. But yeah, secondhand Jellyfish Eyes. Yeah, that's you'll probably see it secondhand sometimes if you get somebody to buy it back. But I know Criterion's you can get quite a bit of value from them if you do try to sell them back to somebody. I've had even DVDs that places have given me a lot of money for, or like a store credit for. So they do have a good resale value to them. So if you do buy a Criterion and you don't like it, you could always sell it. That's why I buy stuff used, all the time. If it's on my list, if list of Criterions I don't want to buy, I'll buy it used, and as long as it's in decent condition, I'll I'm still happy with it. If it's something I usually when I do buy stuff on Criterion, it's usually stuff I really want. It's stuff I've researched well. People have told me that they loved it. The movies I buy, they're usually recommended to me. So like I said, I've got a huge list of Criterions to buy still, that keeps growing. And this year, I'd really like to get more, Japanese films. But I don't know if I'm going to do it this particular time, but I have like 3 titles that I really want. But in July, when Barnes and Noble has their 50% off sale, I definitely want to pick up some more Japanese films. I have Seven Samurai. That's a classic, and just there's some films like that Kurosawa, and Throne of Blood. That's one that's on my list. I'd like to get the movie House. It's kind of a horror movie, Japanese horror movie, and I'd like to check that out too. Yeah, samurai movies. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not even sure how to flash comments on the screen. I'm since I'm not monetized, I don't have like super chats or anything like that. So I don't know if I could flash comments up on the screen or not. I don't know if you just okay, you just show it. First time ever doing it. Yeah, there you go. What am I talking about? Hey, this is my friend Abby here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, there's the Will Meister Clerks movie there. Yeah, Clerks. I've said that for a long time. I think Clerks should get a Criterion release. In my opinion, it has a Chasing Amy's on Criterion, but it was only on DVD. They've never upgraded it to Blu-ray. I don't know if I have that here. Yeah, Chasing Amy. This one. That one got a Criterion release. It's a Spy Number 75, and I think that if the movie's like Slacker is a Slacker has a was considered to be Kevin Smith's inspiration to do Clerks. You know, Clerks was like that big movie that the critics and fans really loved. You know, like when you get critics that do a, I don't know what that means. Yeah, these are the comments I've been reading. Like this is the first time ever. Like it just says show. Yeah. Yeah, these are the comments I've been just reading to myself. I guess if you see the chat, you know, it's good to know. Yeah, there you go. Going backwards here. You know, the rest of the comments have vanished now. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I guess that's a smile. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to do more live streams. You know, there's no super chats required. Just to talk to people, get out there and talk to viewers. I should probably read these before flashing on the screen. Yeah, yeah. This is on. If you go on StreamYard, Abby, yeah, it's if you have the comments on the side, it just if you kind of hover over the comment, it says show. If you hit show, that's how you can see. That's how you can see. You flash the comments on the screen. That's I've just learned that tonight. So it's like I knew there's a way to do it. Just like sharing your screen, you have to go to present and share, and you have to have like another tab open where you usually I have the tabs open ahead, like when I do my the giveaways, the digital code giveaways, and show the wheel. I have the wheel on the other screen, and when I share the screen, that's when I can show the wheel spinning. That's where again. Yeah, I agree. Will Meister. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it is one of his better, but I still like Clerks a little bit more. I think Clerks is just more entertaining, but obviously Criterion felt that Chasing Amy was the one worthy of giving a Criterion release. I remember Kevin Smith years ago was just so honored that Criterion would release one of his movies on it was on DVD at the time, and I guess maybe I don't know if they would ever release that now on Blu-ray. They may not have the license to do it anymore. They did a lot of stuff in there. If you look at the Criterions from like 101 to 100, lots of movies like This Is Spinal Tap got a release. Like RoboCop. RoboCop's a great movie. I wouldn't have a problem with that getting released on Blu-ray or 4K through Criterion, but they had like The Rock and they had Armageddon. Some of those movies that just didn't make as much sense, but Michael Bay movies, but um, I don't know. As far as Chasing Amy, I would buy it on Blu-ray, but yeah, if Criterion were to get the license back and release that, and This Is Spinal Tap is a classic movie too. I don't know if that would get released now, but and if you look at Criterion's release history back when they had Laserdisc, you look at Close Encounters was on that. That they had the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. They did all kinds of stuff on Laserdisc that they well, some of them have come out and in recent years they have re-released some of those that were on Laserdisc originally and released them on Blu-ray and 4K now. So it makes sense. So I think sometimes people don't like when mainstream movies get re-released on Criterion. I not a I don't believe that. I think if it's a great movie, if it's regardless of whether it's like an art house movie or a foreign film, if it's a great movie, even if it was like a mainstream movie, in some cases, if it's a great movie, it should get released. If it and Criterion, they need to have movies that are gonna be big sellers, because they have movies that probably aren't gonna make as much money. So if you get something like Wall-E, that may be the last time that Disney before Disney allows any of the movies get licensed out to Criterion, even though it sounds like Bob Iger, now he's taken Disney back over. It sounds like he might be willing to license out more of their movies, but I'd love to see the two Wes Anderson movies get released on Criterion that Disney own. They're a part of, I guess, Fox Searchlight, or it's like Searchlight Studios now. Love to see those. Yeah, OBS. Yeah, yeah. I've looked at OBS. I'm using that. Well, I've looked at that. I haven't done a live stream on that yet, but I kind of like StreamYard a little bit more, even though it's got the duck on the corner there. But yeah, I've heard people use OBS as well. That's another a streaming service that you can use. But I like. Well, I think you can do that. You can do that on YouTube also. But I like the StreamYard is the most common thing that's used on YouTube. And I think if you pay for StreamYard, you can remove the duck eventually, or you can put like a different logo in the upper right hand corner. So I'm going cheap. So it's a I kind of wish they would change that logo. That's just I don't really like having a duck in the corner, but okay, yeah, show that smile tattoo. Have you noticed that Jamie Lee Curtis is married to Nigel Tufnell? Christopher Guest, that's her husband. If you notice him there, and he looks so proud of her. The two those two are in their like mid-60s now, and he was so excited to see his wife win an Oscar. If you saw Jamie Lee Curtis when she was nominated for when she saw she was nominated for an Oscar, how shocked she was. I think she was definitely deserving of a nomination for sure, and just getting a win. I think, like I said, for her just being in that movie was a big reason why that movie did so well at the box office and started to kind of gain momentum because people were watching the movie. It was kind of people were liking it more and more. It got re-released sometime last month. I actually saw it in the theater again. It was the only second time I've seen it in the theater, and now it's won an Oscar. It'll probably get re-released again. So it just keeps it's a A24 movie, and it's just that's a kind of a small studio that I think the Whale, Brendan Fraser winning was another movie for them. So that's exciting to see a small studio kind of compete with the Hollywood big guns. The big studios that can put up huge money for people. Let's see. Yeah. Yep, that's true. Yeah, it's a Princess Bride that's in the Criterion Collection as well. I don't know if I have it over here. I might strain my neck trying to look at it. There it is. There's a Criterion release as well. Some people might say this movie's a bit too mainstream to be in the collection, but I don't think so. I think it's a great movie. I love the packaging for it. Purple. Nothing. It does have a book inside. Yeah, you see that there. I'm having trouble breathing a little bit. Yeah, yeah, definitely worth picking up on Criterion. Yeah, a little booklet that came on the back. When this was released, had this on the back, so I kept it in the little. Yeah. So yeah, when I do live streams, they're free. Yeah, because at least for now, I think you have to get like 1,000 subs to be able to qualify for that. Okay, yeah, I was looking to make sure this is going to my movie channel because I have a music channel as well. I have a music channel called Excelsior Music Reviews, and that channel I just started it just kind of just to have something to test things out, test out lighting, and test out the movie posters, and I do like album covers that you see on a lot of. I think that when I did my ACDC, I did my ACDC uh, ranking out video. I thought that this would be nothing. That video's gotten over 11,000 views. I think it's just blowing up my channel every time I put a video out. The videos go like 1,000 views on my channel. So like I never get that on my movie channel, yeah, but I love talking about movies, and so I definitely don't want to stop doing movie videos and stuff. But like when I do movie reviews, they hardly ever get any views because a lot of people don't go to the theater to see movies anymore. So or some people do, but it's not as often as it used to. And and my belief is when you do movie reviews, a lot of times, regardless of whether the person says it's a spoiler free review, they still give spoilers away. Like it's like anybody that's an experienced moviegoer knows when you can read between the lines and kind of know stuff. So like a lot of times there are channels I'm subscribed to. A lot of times, I'll watch the videos after I've already seen the movie. That way, I know because I want to hear their opinion on the movie, but I don't really want to get a spoiler. I don't want to. Well, it's a whether they say a spoiler review or not, they're still giving things away that I don't want to know about. That's why I don't watch as many movie trailers as I used to. Usually, I might watch them once, and then when I'm in the theater, I'll show up a little bit late or before the movie starts, but when the previews are kind of winding down, or if I'm there early, I'll get up and go to I'll go over to I'll go over to go to the restroom or something like that so I can avoid the trailer. Um, yeah, 1,000 subs, right? That's true. 1,000 subs for and 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my music channel, I've only had that for a year now, and it's already hit 300 subscribers now. It's like this movie channel I started like 2 years ago, and it just now, just not too long ago, hit 300 subs, and it took me 2 years to get that. It's because I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing necessarily, but um, that's why I think my music channel benefited from me kind of knowing some things ahead of time. But like my editings, that kind of stuff, I would just kind of try stuff out just because on my music channel, just because nobody was watching. I can kind of mess around and kind of learn how to do stuff. Take chances, and as where my movie channel, I was afraid to kind of do that. Just to kind of make too many mistakes. I didn't want people dropping my channel just because I didn't look like I was knew what I was doing. Um, and once I learned how to edit and cut out my mistakes, because I'm kind of just sometimes I stutter in my videos, and I used to do like and all the time, and because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I even kind of write a script out. I still screw stuff up because I'm just you know I've got people that don't know I had like a major car accident when like in 1998. I don't know if that make an excuse necessarily, but I've had a head injury, so I've kind of had to kind of deal with that kind of stuff. To overcome some obstacles. I'm lucky still to be alive. I back then I got hit by I was in a vehicle that got hit by a cement truck, and it knocked me off the road and fell on top of my car. So it's just stuff like that. I don't know. Just 1998, and this long, 25 years later, that some of those effects from that getting hit, getting your head crushed, or almost nearly crushed from a cement truck, eventually kind of takes its toll on you, especially as you get older. When I'm going to be 50 this year, so um, I don't imagine I'm going to get better as I get older. So I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky. I've got like a cut on my face here where I'm um, kind of deal with that. So still lucky to be around. So so every day is a blessing for me to just to be around to be able to go see movies and talk to people and kind of do normal things that just even though the brain don't want to mess with the brain. If you get hit in the head with the get a cement truck run over you, it may not work out too well for you. So I was lucky to survive that. So I don't recommend that. Don't get hit by a cement truck. It's not a good experience to to happen. So at that point, I was kind of left for dead for a little while that night until they realized I was still breathing and they had to cut me out of the vehicle. Um, so yeah, that vehicle got totaled that day. So it wasn't a good day. But you know, I survived it. So, but I'm gonna wrap it up tonight. To everybody, I'm really appreciate the comments. I was lucky that I learned how to do this. Learned how to do this stuff. And I appreciate it, Abby. Thank you. Um, so everybody, I appreciate it. You have a good night. Thank you, and I'll try to get a video out this weekend. I do I'm Tim. There's a channel called Tim Talks Talkies, and he's challenging people to put together their favorite '90s movies. And I've done this before, but I know I can make a better video now and just put it together. So maybe next weekend I'll put that together, and it'd be fun to do. So, but thanks everybody. And have a good night. Thank you. I'm gonna hit end broadcast here. Thank you, Abby. Thank you. And it's going to take a second for it to cut off here as soon as I hit end broadcast, and it's